Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope everybody's doing all right. Good morning. Good morning. Um, oh my God, I'm so glad I got coffee right now. Wow. A lot of new handles in the chat. It's good to see you. Thanks for subscribing. I appreciate it. If you're not subscribed already, please subscribe and hit that like button. I see Irish fans in the house. I'm glad you're feeling better. And let's see. What's up, crew? Yeah, man. So I got up. I don't know what's going on with me, man. I've been getting up like real early lately. Going to sleep real late, getting up real early. Maybe it has to do with the fact that I haven't been drinking at all lately. And speaking of which, I hope nobody's too hungover this morning. I realized I went from like going on late at night to going on early in the morning. Kind of weird, but I like seeing new handles in the chat. So and all right, welcome Britt from the UK. I love my limeys, love them all. So give me a second real quick because I want to share a link with you guys because this went completely under my radar, man. Like totally and completely under my radar, man. My old friend John has a channel, and I think it's his old channel. I think it's his old channel, and he just changed the name, maybe. But it is now called. Hold on a second, because I done forgot the name of the channel. But I'm going to share the link in the chat in just a second. So, a scandal. Give me 1 second. Let me get the actual channel, and I'm going to share it in the chat. All right. So my old friend John Crimes, also known as John Hinged, and now known as a Scandal, he did a live last night that I am so bummed out that I missed because the chat was on fire. He was on fire. And I had a lot of fun just watching the replay, but I love interacting in his chats. And I'm going to go ahead and share that link real quick. So please subscribe. I want to get that man to 10K as quick as possible. Because Lord knows he deserves it. And give me 1 second here. Go real quick because I was rushing and making my coffee and all that whatnot. But yeah, we're gonna try to make it a fun morning because let me tell you something. These boobs make it fun. They make it easy to make this fun. You know, because they just keep going and going, man. And it's, you know, now they also make it a little difficult as well because, you know, a lot of dirty deleting going on. That's why this community has good people like Burnt Toast and my man Crude AF, because they record. So yeah, there's no escaping that. There's no escaping that. So I'm but we're gonna go over some stuff that I know that they won't delete because they stand to make money off of these things. Oh man, don't worry about it, dude. Don't worry about it. Yeah, man, they're quick on the draw with that stuff, man. But you know, I want to say that they were in, you know, rare form, but it's not exactly rare when it comes to them. So yeah, so make sure I'm going to drop that link in here one more time, guys. Just take a second real quick and subscribe to my man John on his new channel. And when this is over, make sure to watch that live. Now it's a long live, but it is highly entertaining all the way through. All right. I got Panda over here. She's hiding from the camera. All right. All right. So as we know, the boobs on the ground, Scooby Boob gang, they are here in Knoxville, and they are basically, I mean, you know, this is really, what's up, Panda? This is really going to be directed to her viewers, to their viewers, because I if I'm them, okay, if I'm them, and if I'm anybody who donated money to them, because this whole time they've been hyping it up, we're going to go down there, especially this idiot JLR. This idiot, he's like, you know, we're going down there and we're going to get justice for Summer and blah, blah, blah. And they're not doing anything at all. They're doing nothing. So, and to me, it's just funny because, you know, I mean, it's not funny, but their behavior makes it easy to make fun of and makes it funny. You know, it's hard to explain. Like, I'm pissed off about the fact that, make no mistake, they are absolutely interfering with an investigation. Their knowledge of things is ridiculous. It's just not that they don't have any knowledge of how the law works or how investigations work. And I'm not a trained professional, but common sense, and it doesn't take a trained professional to have common sense to know that you're interfering with an investigation by knocking on people's doors, by going around and stepping all over places that you are saying that it could be a crime scene, but you're stepping all over it, right? And that reminds me, I want to give a shout out to Kraken Cases, Cam and Allie. Their last live, they did something really, 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 that they showed how you're supposed to do it. And they actually found something that may be nothing. It may be nothing. Now, I was on their channel. Maybe it was because I was talking too much. I don't know. I tend to do that. But they were really kind to me. And subscribe to them, please. Now, it's funny because they get a lot of hate in their chat, which was really getting on my nerves. They get a lot of hate in their chat, but the only reason they're getting hate is because they are actually doing and have been doing what the boob gang has been claiming to be doing. Except they're doing it right. They know their place. They know the lane they're supposed to stay in. They are coming from a place of people who genuinely want to help get justice for Summer. Either find her or find out what happened to her. Either one. Okay. They know exactly what their limitations are, and they understand that they're not trained professionals, but they can actually do their part, be extra hands without interfering or obstructing an investigation. And I love that about them. And they get this hate in the chat, and it's the stupidest thing too that people that they hate on him for. It's like, Cam, he's a soft-spoken guy, and he's not the most articulate guy in the world, but he gets his point across. If you just shut up and listen, he gets his point across, and he's making perfect sense in everything that he's saying and everything that he's doing. And if you're focused on simply the point that he's trying to make, then you would learn something. Sorry, hold on. That's not, no. There we go. That's better. Had to mess with my lighting there for a second. So, I'm really I'm really glad to call them new friends. And what they did, and I should have pulled it up. It's just that it hit me right now. But what they did was they found a very steep. I mean, it's not a steep mountain. Somewhere probably between a mountain and a hill, right? They get to the top of this thing, which is near the Wells property. They get to the top of this thing, and they find what looks like the rim of a spare tire. And he's putting he's making a point. He's like, it took everything that I could to get up this hill. So I don't see how somebody could have carried this thing unless, you know what I mean? Like somebody had to have really gone out of their way to carry this rim. And they found chairs that doesn't look like they were there for too long. Probably the rim could have been used as maybe a fire pit. They found evidence of what could be a tent, I believe. And the first thing that came to my mind was, well, I mean, that's evidence of a possible drifter, I mean, just possible. Like I said, could be nothing. But the owner of the property had no idea that anybody had been up there. But somebody was clearly up there. And the owner of the property denied having been up there or knowing that anybody was up there. Now, they went up there and they saw all this stuff, and all they did, and this is what they did. They took money donated to them, and I'm guessing some of their own money, whatever money they had, and they hired a PI or a couple of PIs. I'm not sure exactly if it was more than one, but they hired private investigators to show them what to do so that they don't interfere with an investigation. Their mindset the entire time was, let's trust law enforcement to do what they do, but it doesn't hurt if we can actually be an extra set of eyes, but be no more than that, just an extra set of eyes. And and that's great. That's great. And I love that was their mindset the entire time, because they took a PI with them. The PI or PIs, I'm not sure, showed them how to tape off what they found without touching it, without going too near it. Because, there could be footprints that the naked eye couldn't detect. Maybe a dog could. I don't know. But these are things that if you're really trying to get answers because you genuinely care about a missing little girl, these are the steps that you would take. Okay, I don't know what bang bang means, Irish fan, but this is Summer Wells information. I think it's just a typo. But thank you for sharing that. 2 private investigators working the case pro bono. Nice people. Wow. Okay. So everybody was of the mindset. Everybody, Cam and Allie and who they were working with were clearly of the mindset of, we really want to help because we care about Summer. They're not claiming that Candace and Dawn had nothing to do with anything, but they're not implying that they did in any way, shape, or form, because they know that they don't know. They understand the fact that they don't know. They don't have all the facts. They understand that law enforcement has all the facts. Well, they have facts that we're not aware of. You have to assume that that's the case. So when you do something as foolhardy as wanting to protest the law enforcement agency, the TBI, the law enforcement agency in Texas that is trained in finding missing persons, and you want to criticize how they're doing their job, and you don't have any idea of how an investigation works, not even the first clue. You don't even have enough sense to not touch something without gloves or with gloves. Sorry, I had that right the first time. So when you have people like this, these irresponsible people, they're going around knocking on doors, and they're yelling and screaming, and the funny thing is they're not they're not effective as far as their little protesting goes at all, and thank goodness for that. It's absolutely ridiculous what they're doing, and it just gets more ridiculous. I mean, they're hungover and they're driving around and they're stopping at Walmart to buy a printer and wine, and I mean, it's just it's ridiculous. And I'm these people are. Yesterday we watched them go in front of the TBI headquarters here in Knoxville, and they were literally protesting to the air, to nothing, a void of property that nobody was on, not one person except them. They were essentially protesting at each other, shouting a bullhorn in each other's face. Like, how is that effective? How is that effective? Like, please explain it to me. But it gets even better, because at least there was a building nearby, right? They were too far away from the building to be bothering anybody or to get anybody's attention, really. You had Homeland Security pull up at one point. Homeland Security pulls up, and Homeland Security says, we want to move you. We're glad you're doing this, blah, blah, blah. But we're going to move you. And the truth is that was their way. Personally, I believe that was just their way of letting them know, we know that what you're doing, but we don't care. We don't care. Stay out here and scream your lungs out all you want. We don't care. You're not making any difference whatsoever. You're not affecting anything. So imagine you're a follower and subscriber and patron of Molly Golightly, Bullhorn Betty, Chronicles of Olivia, and Jonathan Lee Riches. Three of which are convicted They have police records. They have police records. 3 of them. One for being a thief, another one for being a fraud, and another for being a very violent person. And their entire focus, their genius Karen minds have come to the conclusion that Don and Candace are guilty of what? They don't know. They don't have any idea. Of what? Who knows? But they did something. Now, and Crude made it a good point. And I think John last night made a good point too, because he played a clip of Crude AF covering a clip of Olivia filming Molly being very, very dramatic, and obviously doing it just for the camera, which Crude had pointed out. And she makes a comment saying something to the effect of, if it was my son, I would be screaming down the street. I would be screaming and yelling down the street. Which, first of all, yeah, she kind of did that when Summer went missing. At first, she said, "Hey, Summer," which is what parents do when they can't find their kid. It's what they do, right? But rationally. But screaming down the street, like, what's that going to accomplish? What's that going to accomplish exactly? How does that help? I mean, because she's talking about she should be doing that now, just going crazy, right? She's talking about she should be doing that now. But they pride themselves on setting the example. We're doing what Candace Wells should be doing, what Candace Bly should be doing. We're doing what Candace should be doing. That's what makes us heroes. That's work. We're doing the work, is what they say, right? Now, let's take another look at what that work looks like. And let's talk about how effective it is. Okay? Well, I actually got something else queued up first. We're going to go over that in a minute, but let's check this out first. We're going to be here a while anyway, guys. All right.
Heels on the ground.
Now, this is
for anybody that's sticking up for these despicable parents. Shame on you, and go straight to hell. Seriously, why is he doing these things?
Now, we're proud of this. This is funny. This is what's her face's. This is Olivia's. And now I keep hearing. Now I love. Now John has a colorful way and a very carefree way of describing these people. And like I said, make sure you watch that, because I don't disagree with him. I don't disagree with him at all. And it's not even that I have a problem referring to them with that word. I just feel like he took over that word. He owns that word now to describe them. It's a very common word to describe women like this. But I feel like he earned the right to basically own it. It's John's word now. But you'll see when you watch him that it's quite accurate. But it's funny because I feel I stick by what I was saying yesterday. I don't feel like Olivia is innocent in this at all. Is she younger than all of them? Sure. But like I said, somebody who has the innovative mind, the observant mind that it takes to capture things on video and edit them and create a vibe with the video that you make. Well, it takes a mind that is observant to be able to do this with some talent. So there's no way you're going to tell me that this person is not fully aware of these people and the way that they behave and the hypocrisy that's going on. She has to be aware. Now, do I think that these people are self-aware? No, I don't. Not at all. But I think Olivia is using all of them. I think that she's putting all of this together, and she is going to she's playing a card here, because once all of this footage is put together, after all of this falls apart and everybody realizes what a waste of time and a waste of their money this is, she's going to get to use that footage and twist it. And I know that's what she's going to do. I know that's what she's going to do. I know it. So, which tells me that she's no better than them. I'll put it in the chat. Whoever just asked that. Oh, Lauren Aceto. Here, I'll put it back in the chat. All right. Make sure you subscribe to that, guys. So yeah, she's not fooling me one bit. This Olivia girl, she's not fooling me one bit. Not at all. She's soft-spoken. She's quiet. She's pretty and smiles, and she's young. She's got an innocent look to her. And at first glance, when you watch whatever, but you've got to see her actions. Look at her actions. She is no better than any of these people, and she doesn't get a pass with me. She's 23 years old. She's perfectly aware of her actions. She's not a child. She's old enough to drive. She's old enough to drink. If you're old enough to drink, you're old enough to drive and be trusted not to drink and drive, well, guess what? You're responsible for your actions. You are perfectly capable of looking at a situation and realize that it is probably a bad idea to engage in it.
Doesn't sound like a grieving father.
Candace and Don didn't even know Summer's birthday. That's shameful.
Okay. So this is basically what their trip is. It's riding around and trash talking. That's it. It's riding around, exploring Tennessee, taking selfies, taking selfie videos, filming each other talk crap. And it's nothing more. It's literally nothing more. It's only at some points they decide to start screaming into a bullhorn, because it's a trademark of the K1000, which is the Terminator Karen Bullhorn Betty.
Children when she was young, I believe around 20-ish, 19, 20-ish. The guy that she had these children with were twice her age. He was 44 at the time. And Candace Wells got arrested in Burnett County, Wisconsin, for abusing her child and drug use, which ultimately had her.
This is the thing about that, is I don't know if that's true or not. I honestly don't know. And it might be. It might be. But none of that, none of the things that he's talking about is relevant to the case at all. Like, it's maybe something. Now, if she had gotten arrested for child abuse, if she had a child abuse charge, That would be something I'd look at and be like, okay, but all it does is make me think I'm not eliminating them as a possibility. Show me the evidence that she actually did it. Now, you're letting me know that she's capable, maybe. It's possible, but it doesn't say, logically, it doesn't say any more than that. It doesn't say any more than it's possible. But anything's possible. How many times do we hear about parents that ended up hurting their kid to the point to where they die, and then there's no history, and you hear people go, I don't understand it. I don't understand. They would never do that. So when you think on the level or on terms of how a court system works, the court can only convict you if the prosecution has presented a case and convinces a jury beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant is guilty. Okay? Beyond a reasonable doubt. It sounds cliche because we hear it all the time, but there's a reason for that. Beyond a reasonable doubt means you eliminate any doubt. You say, look, this is indisputable. Indisputable. And you get 12 people to agree on that. 12 people, not one, not just a judge, but 12 people who don't know these people, don't know anything about them, to just look at solid evidence and then decide, is it enough evidence? Can I create a scenario of doubt in my head to counter that evidence? Right? The reason why that works that way is because it's the responsible thing to do. Because yes, the court of public opinion can be very damaging. People use the excuse, well, innocent until proven guilty only works in court. That doesn't work out in real life. I've heard this idiot say that. It doesn't matter in real life. That's only in court. It's only the law. Well, there's a reason why the law works that way. The reason why the law works that way is because it's the right way to do things. You don't want to falsely condemn someone. You want to eliminate as much risk as possible to falsely condemn someone. Because look what's going on now. They haven't even been named persons of interests. Don and Candace have not yet been named persons of interest. Their house has been searched. Their property has been searched multiple times. They have both passed lie detector tests, and there's nothing. They haven't been arrested. It's been 6 months. Now I'm saying, I don't know if they're innocent, but with all that I know so far, it only makes sense to assume that they are innocent until otherwise. It only makes sense to do that. So when you have a bunch of blowhard idiots running amok, and they're funded by a whole bunch more blowhard idiots that follow them, well, you get harassment. Now, if these people are innocent, which the evidence that we have access to dictates that they are so far, if these people are innocent, they're simply being harassed and unjustly. And even if they are guilty, it's law enforcement's job, not yours, to collect evidence that would be enough to present to a jury for a prosecutor to present to a jury to get them convicted. It is not your responsibility. You harass these people. If you harass these people and bully them online enough, what do you think happens to people who get overbullied? Why do you think it's a problem that online bullying is a thing? Why do you think it's such a problem? Because people have offed themselves over it. Now, what if law enforcement requires more information from them in order to find out what happened to Summer? And then guess what? They off themselves, or one of them does. And one of them turns out to be somebody who might have key information based on a new lead that law enforcement has discovered. Law enforcement charged with the responsibility of finding Summer, who are trained to do it. So yes, what they are doing is interfering with an investigation. Make no mistake about that. And all you idiots that gave them money funded it. You funded harassment. That is what you did. You funded a road trip for bullies to do what they love to do. Because make no mistake, every single one of those people in that car are bullies. Every single one of those people in that B&B are bullies. They're nothing more. They're nothing more than that. They're nothing better than that.
Two children taken away from her from the state. Candace Walls has 6 mugshots.
Okay, 6 mugshots. He's talking 6 mugshots coming from the dude who has 2,600 fraudulent lawsuits under his belt. We're talking about a guy who tried to sue Michael Vick. He tried to sue Jimmy Hoffa. We're talking about a guy with 2,600 lawsuits under his belt, fraudulent ones. None of them panned out. And he ended up doing prison time for it. 10 years prison time. An ex-con who still has yet to take any responsibility for his actions. He has yet to take any accountability. He still says it was a big plot from the government to railroad him. He still to this day says that. Takes no accountability for any of his actions. And he's up here talking about somebody with 6 mugshots who has somebody sitting directly behind him with 6 mugshots. Somebody directly behind him sitting in the car with 6 mugshots of violent crimes, domestic crimes. And this is all fact, people. This is all fact. None of this that I'm saying is speculation, hearsay. This is stuff that I've gone over. I've gone over the police reports. I've gone over the court documents here on this channel over these people. All you got to do is go back and watch. But they're there. They're absolutely there. So basically everybody funded the most non-credible people possible under the guise of we're going to go look for Summer Wells. Yet all they talk about is money. And all we've watched them do so far is spend money on a B&B that cost over $200 a night, on an Airbnb that cost over $200 a night, on Cracker Barrel, on Dunkin' Donuts, on crap at Walmart, on KFC. I mean, that's all we've seen them do. That's all we've seen him do so far. The only thing useful that they've done is get nourishment, because I encourage everybody to get nourishment. They didn't get healthy nourishment, but they at least ate. Good for you. But, you know, I like the idea of buying someone lunch who's doing something worthwhile. You know what I mean?
6 mugshots. 6 mugshots in the state of
Like the idiot that's sitting behind you. Right.
Wisconsin. She's been arrested off and on back in the day for disorderly conduct and brandishing a weapon and her child abuse. So, you know, she gets her kids and taken away. Now, we all know that people have reached out to her 2 children. And
now, I'm so grateful that neither one of these morons, Bull Boob Betty and Chad, Jonathan Lee Roth or Riches, I'm so glad that neither one of them have kids. I'm so grateful that neither one of them have kids. That's the most positive thing out of this entire situation.
her daughter that she had out in Wisconsin said openly in Facebook groups on posts that during the last 20 plus years since Candace had her children taken away, Candace has not reached out to her daughter once, not at all. She hasn't even attempted to build a relationship with her daughter or her son. She hasn't even reached them. Now, we hear recently she tried to reach out to her daughter after a backlash on that. But that's shameful. That's shameful. So her 2 kids are taken away. She joins the carnival. She's a carny.
You gotta love the judgment. You know what I mean? The judgment here is hilarious to me. Coming from these idiots, the judgment is hilarious to me.
Girl, whatever, hooks up with Don Wells and then goes to Don Wells's compound there on Ben Hill Road, Beach Creek. And then they breed more children. They breed 3 boys. And then Summer Wells, which, remember everyone, Candace and Don didn't even know Summer's birthday. They didn't even know Summer's birthday. During the course of the last 5 years, 911 calls that we obtained through Hawkins County 911 dispatch show continuous calls going to the Wells homes for domestic violence and the Wells giving alcohol to children and parents calling 911 saying their children are up there stuck at the Wells home and they're scared to go retrieve them because of the threats that Don and Candace have done. We've talked to...
That's all hearsay. All hearsay. All rumors that either they're making up or the possibility that whoever told them are making it up. I'm not saying it's not true, but I'm saying between the fact that it's hearsay and the fact that it's coming from this guy's mouth, it's not credible. It's not credible. If I was a juror and that was a witness on a stand, I would just blow him off. I'd be like, I can't believe a word that you're saying. I can't believe a word you're saying.
Numerous friends of Don and Candace Wells who said that Don and Candace gave their children alcohol.
So we have a question here.
It was actually one person who claimed that. And I get the feeling that he's lying. I don't know about that. I'm saying the interview that Chris McDonough conducted with H, I got the feeling he was being coached by his mom and his grandma in that interview. And honestly, Candace denied it. And I have no reason to not believe her. But I'm not saying it didn't happen, But I'm saying if I'm looking at all the facts and I'm using common sense on what to take into consideration as far as information that's credible, that information is not credible. It's just not.
Person that thinks they're smarter than you said, no, Candace was never charged with hurting her kid.
Yes, she was.
Yes, she was. And you want to know where we got the information? Directly from the state of Wisconsin.
We posted the
through
criminal document.
records requests.
It was in around 2001.
Maybe you
So riddle me this, boob. If you got this information, right? Because it's public record. It's public record. Why have we not seen one document? Why haven't you shown these documents? Why are you not doing live streams, sharing the screen like I do, like Crude AF does, like Burnt Toast does? Why are you not showing these documents? It makes no sense. Now, I don't know if they exist or not. What I'm saying is that at the very least, Sarah Quinn, thank you so much for the super sticker. That at the very least discredits them as investigators, because I'm not even close to an investigator, but I have enough common sense to show proof of whatever I'm claiming. I have enough integrity to show proof of whatever I'm claiming. So make no mistakes. Make no mistake that the only proof of documents of people with a criminal record has been shown by me and creators like me, or at least with the same interests, I mean, on them. On them. That is the only proof of criminal records that have been shown on YouTube regarding this disgusting situation. And make sure if you're not subscribed to Crude AF, you do that, guys. Irish fan just dropped it in the dropped his link in the chat. All right, let's keep listening to this moron.
Do your work. Maybe you should get off the internet and actually do, records requests in the.
Hey, stupid! You get the records off the internet. She just said get off the internet and get the record requests. Okay, that's what you do. You get it off the internet. Like everything that I've shown was emailed to me. And I showed it on the screen. I didn't take a printout of a piece of paper and go, hey, look, and hold it in front of the camera, which they didn't even do. JW Designs, thank you. Let's see. The document state battery, not of a child or minor, misconstruing at its finest here. Yeah. The document state battery, not of a child or minor. They just say state battery. And if it was a child, you better believe that they would have gotten a charge. Now, we do know that I do believe that domestic violence does take place in that home. I do believe that Don and Candace have fights and they do get physical. I do believe that. I'm not going to deny that. But that doesn't mean that they did something to their child. Now, is it an unhealthy environment for children? Absolutely. Sure. It's definitely an unhealthy environment for children. Not denying that at all. But it doesn't make them guilty of the most horrific crime you can think of.
State of Wisconsin and read what this despicable woman has done.
She was arrested
multiple times.
She's sitting there with her laptop. If I was sitting there with my laptop and I was making all of these claims and I'm live because she's got StreamYard pulled up, that's what she's got on her screen right there, and she's talking all of this shit and I'm live, right? talking all that shit. Well, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to be like, hey, Olivia, with the camera, get a shot of this. Let me show you what we're talking about. That's what any even remotely credible person would do.
So that's a pattern in history of both of them. They're not victims. Don and Candace Wells are not victims.
They're victims of harassment by you. They're victims of harassment by you. And the law enforcement agencies are victims by you because you are making their job more difficult.
Perpetrators.
Yeah.
They're predators.
They're predators.
They're predators. They're perpetrators.
You guys are the ones stalking them. How are they the predators? You're the ones stalking them. You're the ones with convicted crimes, victims, crimes with victims. You victimized people. The both of you did.
They neglect children. They abuse children. They live a very just disgusting life there on Ben Hill Road. Their house that we've been to in Saul up on the hill, it is littered with trash. Their property and their hill is littered with children's toys, beer bottles, garbage. Up at the top of their house, garbage. You have a school bus, an abandoned giant school bus on their property, along with old junk cars.
Now, I love that they observed the school bus, but they didn't bother to look near the school bus to see. And this is something Kraken Cases discovered. They didn't look near the school bus to see that there's a path that you could easily, and it's not very steep, you can easily get to a main road from, and vice versa. Someone from the main road could easily get on that property. And they were saying it's impossible for anybody to get up on that property. That's one of their biggest arguments.
And a piece of crap trailer in back of their house. And you guys all saw the videos and pictures of the inside of the Wells home. It is a dump. And that's not an excuse because I know, and you can't say poverty is an excuse, okay? Because,
well, you know, in his defense, he was probably forced to keep his prison cell real clean. So, you know, I can understand him judging messy people since he was probably he was probably threatened by special things happening by his cellmate if he didn't keep his side of the cell clean.
I really did, but I had personal pride. Even though you don't have,
he probably had pretty good commissary in the prison.
Have the money, you still have personal pride in yourself, and they lack that. They lack that. We've listened to videos in the last 6 months. Don and Candace Wells fighting and arguing with each other on YouTube Lives, calling each other derogatory.
For anyone who's tortured by gum disease or tooth decay, this solution is so simple and so incredibly powerful that it's been
derogatory names. I mean, wake up, people. These people are not angels. They're not victims. They're
okay, so, and nobody claimed they were angels, by the way. Nobody that's criticizing you has referred to them as angels or even implied it. So I don't know what you're talking about. And second of all, he called Pastor David for a blessing. What? He's calling him, or he's calling are you talking about the pastor of the church that Don and Candace go to? You know what's funny, man? And I made a little video just to be silly. I made a little reface video. Like, I swear she's Misery, dude. She's Kathy Bates in Misery. That's what Bullhorn Betty reminds me of. She's Kathy Bates from Misery, dude. You dirty birdie. You dirty birdie.
Disgusting people. And you have 5-year-old Summer Wells. She's still missing.
Look at Kathy Bates in
and
that
they're not
reflection.
yet going
Look at
out
that.
there searching for Summer Wells. They haven't even went on a search team for Summer Wells. They're not standing side by side with law.
Okay, so if these people had been following the case the way that they claim to have been following the case, they would understand that when this case first happened, when Sheriff Ronnie Lawson of Hawkins County Sheriff's Department addressed the media in a press conference to discuss what their plan of action was as far as searching for Summer Wells, they said, "We are not taking any help. We do not want any help. We want to ensure, we feel that the best way to ensure that Summer Wells is found is to leave it to the professionals because of the terrain, because of the area and the terrain, to leave this to the professionals." And he said the reason for that was because he didn't want evidence tampered with or accidentally tampered with, and because they didn't want to end up looking for other people and having to deal with people getting hurt and taking away manpower. He said this in a press conference. If you want me to, I'll look it up. But see, I won't have to do that because everybody that's in this chat, everybody who's in this chat and agrees with what I'm saying has already that information because you have common sense. So I don't have to play that for you. I can if you want me to. If you want me to, I'll pull it up.
Enforcement for any reason. Why? Why isn't law enforcement standing next to Don and Candace Wells asking for, because they claim there was kidnapped, but no evidence. The police said no evidence. Authorities said no evidence of a kidnapping. Why isn't law enforcement next to Don?
There is right there an example of selective hearing. Okay. They said, yes, there is no evidence of a kidnapping, but we're not ruling it out. There's no evidence that she wandered off, but we're not ruling it out. Do we suspect foul play? Most likely. Everyone is a suspect. Nobody's a person of interest. Now, everyone is a suspect does not mean Don and Candace are the suspects. They're two of many suspects. That just means that they're ruling it out. It means they don't know. Everyone is a suspect when it comes to investigations like this. There's always a possibility. So this person's selective hearing only chose to, okay, there's no evidence. That they hear one thing and then they start talking before the person finishes. That's what they do. He just said that there's no evidence of a kidnapping. I mean, they could be suspects now, but we don't know. But more importantly, they don't know. They don't know. Louisiana girl saying every inch of the Wells property has been torn apart and Ellie didn't even have to get a search warrant. Exactly. They volunteered for their property to be searched. They cooperated fully every step of the way. Yet because their lifestyle is something that you don't like, all of a sudden, they got to be guilty of the most horrific crime there is. A crime that we don't even know what it was. We don't know. We don't even know if the crime took place.
Candace Wells. I'll tell you why. Because they're guilty. They're guilty. Their past behaviors. Who would?
Okay. They're guilty. First of all, guilty of what? Guilty of what? You tell me. I'd love to hear what they're guilty of exactly. Because you have to have something to charge them with. Guilty of what? And if you say murder, okay, what makes you say that? And he's just answered it for me. Look at their past behavior. Right? Look at their past behavior. Because based on that theory, guess what? I mean, Bullhorn Betty's in Tennessee right now. Based on her past behavior, why is it unfair for me to think that she did it? Right? I mean, think about it. Based on his logic that he's stating right now, it's just as likely, well, not just as likely, but it's just as possible, based on look at their past behavior, quote unquote. They're guilty. Look at their past behavior. Based on that statement, well, Kathy Bates, fried green tomatoes sitting behind you, is perfectly capable of the same thing. She's just as much of a suspect. Why not?
Want to be next to them? Who would want to be able to be side by side with the Wells? Only bottom feeders and degenerates and disgusting people. They're like the people that, they're kind. They're kind. We are not.
Listen to that. Bottom feeders and disgusting people. Let's think about the term bottom feeder for a second. Okay? And let's think about the term disgusting. First of all, people who judge others without knowing them and harassing them for financial gain, well, to me, that would constitute being a bottom feeder. Hence the idiots that's talking right now. And they're kind. What's their kind? People who've been arrested? Is that what you mean? They're kind? People who've been arrested. Disgusting people? People who interfere with investigations for clout? For super chats?
Defending them, we are outing them, we will continue to expose them. Now, I offered an olive branch.
No, you're not exposing anybody. First of all, the stuff that you're talking about, they expose themselves. They expose themselves as far as how they live, because they, in so many ways, they've cooperated with law enforcement and they cooperated with media. And did they get a little overboard and manage themselves poorly by going on YouTube channels? The biggest mistake that Don ever made was going on Molly Golightly's channel and talking to her and Laura Cack. Last name, I swear, man, sounds like a dog choking on a bone. Cat. I swear. I'm telling you, the worst thing that Don ever did regarding since this case happened and as decisions that he made was going on that channel, intoxicated and just coming from a place where he's just like, I'm tired of being attacked. I don't want to be attacked. And they're sitting there going, we're not attacking you. We're not attacking you.
to Don Wells on Chronicles Olivia on her live earlier. I said, Don and Candace Wells, I don't want to do that. Why?
Services as well.
Let's get justice.
Let's listen to
Services
Fried
as
Green
well.
Tomatoes here.
In Rogersville, to do some sort of protest. You know, I know a lot of people were in here. Where's my mouse? We're in here asking us, you know, are we going to do that? It looks like if we have some time, we may be over there to protest them as well. Let them know we're watching and actually find out what in the...
See, I love how they replace the word harassment with protest. It's very, very funny to me.
World happened. Why were these kids not removed from this home? They had all the information.
They were removed.
The first visit into this home that they ever saw was enough information to get those children pulled out of the home.
They were removed. We still don't know why, but they don't. You can see these people don't know anything about this case. They just jumped on a bandwagon and saw it as Molly put it, a cash cow. All right. Now, I'm going to show you guys something else here. Shut up.
Hi, Don. It's Molly Golightly. I know you know that we're in town. Oh, you.
God, this idiot! Like his face just bugs me. Just his stupid little face. His beanie little face. Now, right now, they are calling Don Wells. Okay? Right now, they're calling Don Wells.
Come on, you porker. Pick up. Bye. Don. Hold on.
At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hi, Don. It's Molly Golightly. I know you know that we're in town. Oh, you fucking bastard. I hate you.
Okay. How's that not harassment? Now, that's proof. So, listen. Let's just go on with it.
I'm going to redo it.
Yeah, we're gonna call him back. Here we go. Call him back.
So they're going to call him again.
Bastard.
Should never put your mascara on until after you do.
I know.
She's acting like a crazy ex. These are things that get a restraining order on your ex. This kind of behavior. And there's 4 of them doing it. 4 of them.
I'm half asleep.
Got it up
I'm
there.
half asleep.
Actually, when he said hello, I actually thought.
No,
it was
that's
him.
his. That's
Me too.
his-
Yeah, I thought it was like that's why I was putting.
That's his message. He thinks he's funny, not realizing
Playing
that's
a
from
game.
the 1987.
Five-year-old child's missing and likes to play games. That's not what. I don't know.
Don, this
I hadn't even gotten that far yet. Okay, that is hilarious because how stupid are you where you just sat there where he was like, he just explained that he was like, I heard him say hello. And then she was the one that explained that's just him being funny. He thinks he's funny by leaving that as his voice message, which a lot of people do. And and then they call back to harass him and score one for Don. That was fantastic. They call back to harass him, and then the voicemail comes on again, and then she's like, hi, Don. he got her toys. You can't write this shit. Oh my God, dude. How fucking dumb is this woman? How fucking stupid is this woman? If I'm Don, I'm watching that and I'm cracking up. I am pissing myself if I'm Don.
For the second time.
because he's gonna go.
Please record your message.
Yeah.
When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Don, it's Molly Golightly. I know that you guys know that we're in town and we just want to find your daughter. I don't know why you won't meet us and try and help us. What we want to do is find Summer, and we were hoping to get your help. Again, we came back. Can you please get back to us? Thanks, son. Bye.
So after she calls him a bastard and says, I hate you. Now imagine you're checking your voicemail, right? You're like, what? 2 voicemails? Okay. What? Hey, Don, it's Molly Golightly. I'm in town. I hate you, you bastard. I hate you. Beep. Don, hi, it's Molly Golightly. Just wanted to let you know we're back in town and we would like to get together with you and talk with you. And like, that is psycho behavior. If I get those 2 messages back to back, I'm going to be like, what in the I'm going to be like, yo, what? Thanks, hun.
Let's call him one more time.
He could put you in a good mood, from a good mood to a bad mood, like that.
Well, maybe don't harass him and you wouldn't have to worry about it.
Remember, he was just texting. He was just responding via
He
text.
knows. He knows he's not stupid. He's not stupid as he looks, but he is stupid. Sorry, I don't like him. Don.
This is from yesterday.
This
Luigi.
bastard.
At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hi, Don. It's Molly Golightly again. We're here in town. We want to help you find Summer. We're the only active searchers right now that cares about your daughter. I wish that you would call us back and let us.
We're the only active searchers that care about your daughter. We're the only active searchers that care about your daughter. When have they searched? I haven't seen any searching at all. I haven't seen any documentation of any searching. I've seen Kraken cases do it. I've seen them do it. I've seen footage of law enforcement doing it, but I haven't seen them do anything except harass people.
Talk and meet with you. It's so strange the way we keep coming down here and you keep dodging us. This is your daughter. We're the only ones that care. Come on, let's get out.
The only thing that they care about is harassing him, because we've already seen plenty of evidence to dictate the fact that they don't know how to investigate anything. They don't know the first thing about investigating anything. They don't understand the first thing of how an investigation even works. What they care about is getting content from Don in person and hoping that something terrible happens. And they end up on the news, and then they get hate subscribers for views. Or they get to play victim. Don and Candace end up doing something that they'll regret, because we know that they're capable of irrationality. We do know that. I'm not denying that. They are capable of irrational behavior, and they're counting on this. They're counting on this because we watched Jonathan Lee Riches instigate and basically nag and poke some guy. I mean, not literally, but instigated a guy to end up putting his hands on him, and then the guy got arrested while he was screaming. This was in front of Brian Laundrie's house. We saw footage of this. That dude that was screaming, "You're going to prison! You put your hands on me! You're going to prison!" And then the big Kathy Bates looking lady that was next to him, that was Blowhard and this idiot. And then that's where they met. Like, I could tell you exactly how it went down. Wasn't even there, but I could tell you exactly how it went down. You had the idiot with the bullhorn. You had this jackass, Chad, and then you had Molly Golightly showing up later going, I can afford to fly to Florida. I can afford to do that. So I'm going to go up there and I'm going to join the protesting, and I'm going to be the loudest one out of everybody. So she goes up there, she starts filming herself, she's getting her content, and then they meet these idiots that are doing the exact same thing. And then they're like, you know what? You're an idiot. I'm an idiot. We have YouTube channels. We can use each other for content. And you could get some of my subscribers, and I can get some of yours, and we'll put together this dream team of stupidity. We'll put together this dream team of stupidity, and then we'll go take on all these cases. We won't do any research. We don't need to do that. We'll just look like we're doing something because we'll travel there, and we'll get all our listeners to pay for it. Because all our listeners are idiots that'll pay for anything.
Let's go.
Yeah, so, he knows we're in town. He's making every excuse possible not to meet us. Why?
Why do people do that? Why? This is insane. This is insane.
He talked.
Look at that dude's face. That dude definitely got fucked in prison. Definitely got fucked in prison. Look at his face. That's what he's so bitter about. That's what he's so bitter about. Look at him. That is the face of a prison fuck victim. Absolutely. Without a doubt. I have no doubt in my mind.
To Bullhorn Betty, and he said, Summer could be in a meth house. Check the meth houses. Okay, so I've been texting him. Let's look in the meth houses. Let's look in the meth houses together. If Summer's in a meth house, I'll take you, Don.
Now he's bragging.
And man, here you go. You see this little device right here?
Hold
Well,
on
I'm
a
going to show
second.
you something right now. Now, some people are
I
rightfully...
want to have this queued up.
Show me where all
Now, what he's doing right now is he's bragging about... Now, I talked about this yesterday, but for those of you that weren't here or didn't catch the replay, he's bragging about that he offered to Don. He texted Don saying, I'll take you and we'll go to all the meth houses to look for Summer. Since Don claims that she probably got taken by a meth head. Now, this is Tennessee, and especially in rural Tennessee, meth is a big problem. It's actually a really big problem. In Kingsport, Tennessee, big problem. It's definitely a big problem. But the problem with that is, like I said, I explained this yesterday, but I'll explain it again for those of you that weren't here. The problem with that is, first of all, you're automatically, by going around and knocking on potential meth houses, you're definitely interfering with an investigation. You're tampering with evidence. And the reason why you're tampering with evidence is because let's say by chance that you show up to a meth house, right? First of all, how do you know where the meth houses are? How do you know which house is a meth house? You're not even from here, dude. So right there, your statement is bullshit. This guy is bragging about offering to take Don to all the meth houses, but he's not even from there. How would he know where the meth houses are? How would he know? He doesn't even know where to look. Okay, so now let's say that they go around and they ask somebody, hey, you know where the meth houses are? He's doing this. Hey, can you take me to a meth house? Meth head? Can you do that? Dude, you ever seen a tweaker? So I live in Tennessee. I've seen them. If you've ever seen a tweaker, it's not a pretty sight. And they're very, very weary. And they are instantaneously... you can tell that they are instantaneously, you can tell that they are struggling with a drug-induced psychosis and they're paranoid. They're not going to share that information with you. They're not. They're going to assume you're law enforcement and they're going to be afraid. They're going to be afraid that if they take you to where they get their meth, that the dealer, a dealer who is probably armed because he's afraid of getting robbed, would kill him. Or at least cut off his supply and say, hey, don't ever come back here. I'm never selling you shit again. Don't ever come back here. No tweaker would ever do that. No tweaker would help them. So that would really be their only chance. Unless he has a source in law enforcement, which we know for a fact that they don't. We know for a fact that they don't. But there's more. There's more. So on top of that, let's say they do get to a meth house, right? Let's say they knock on a meth house door, right? And it happens to be the house that Summer was in. And there's evidence of that. And they go there going, hey, we're looking for Summer Wells, blah, blah, blah. If they don't get killed and he doesn't get Don killed, which again, like I explained before, Don could be a potential witness moving forward. This investigation is not closed. They might need more information from Don. So by getting him killed could cost law enforcement their only chance of finding out where Summer is. So if he doesn't get Don killed and get himself killed, well, what else are they going to do? Any evidence of Summer Wells in the meth house, they're going to get rid of. Oh my God, Annie, it's a shit show. It's a shit show. It's ridiculous. Um, so obviously, these are people that are going to get rid of any evidence that they can, right? So there goes any chance of getting any answers where Summer Wells is. And let's say by the grace of God, Summer Wells is still alive. Let's say by the grace of God, Summer Wells is still alive and in one of these meth houses that this idiot is suggesting that they go knock on the door, right? What do you think is going to happen to Summer then? Do I have to even say it? Because Summer alive is evidence. Do I have to even say it? Because I don't want to say it 2 days in a row.
All the meth
Exactly.
houses are.
Tell us where the meth
And I'll
house
knock
is,
on
and
the
I'll
door.
bang on the door. We'll kick the door in and say, "Where the hell's Summer?"
But then he finds excuses.
Okay. Her logic, her logic right there is we kick the door in and say, "Where the hell's Summer?" This is somebody who calls her group Heels on the Ground and looked at a very shallow hill with a little bit of bush in it and was like, there's no way that scent dogs, cadaver dogs, can get down there. Oh, blowjob Betty. She actually said that there's no way that cadaver dogs and professional searchers could get down there. But she suggests we go and kick in the door of a meth house who are likely armed because this is Tennessee. Guess what? Chances are any house in the area that that is not a meth house, they're armed. This is Tennessee.
Exactly.
A picture of some bridge out, some view out west, as if he's out west. So, you know, he's not out west. He's in town. He's on probation. He can't leave the area. And then he also said he was turning himself in on Thursday for a probation violation. That's obviously not true because he's sitting there responding. So Don Wells is just a pathological liar.
Again, this guy calling someone a liar who went to prison for 10 years because he sued 2,600 people fraudulently, some of which are people in history who are no longer alive, famous historical figures who are no longer alive, and he tried to file lawsuits against them. And he's calling someone a liar.
And he makes every excuse possible not to work with people that want to actively search for Summer.
You know what? There are times that I really pray that I am not making a mistake. What if these people are actually innocent? But the more I talk to them, the more engagement I have with them, I'm like, oh my God, we're dealing with guilty people.
So we have a timeline now that was given.
I love how Olivia's filming this and she's got this background music. Like these people are like investigative geniuses. This is killing me. This is like an SNL skit. It's hilarious to me. This is like an SNL skit. This one over here talking about a timeline. This one over here talking about a timeline. And then this one going, there are times where I think they might be innocent. What if I'm wrong and they might be innocent? And then I have some interaction with them. And then, oh my God, I'm dealing with guilty people when there's nothing to indicate that they're guilty. The only thing they're guilty of. Yeah, hold on. Let me, I gotta bring Annie up to speed on this, guys, because she's gonna love this. Wait, this guy in the hoodie is the one who got lawsuit happy. What? I didn't know he was in the. Yeah, dude. We're talking about a super group of idiots. I call them the Scooby Boob Gang. They're ridiculously. It's crazy. If they weren't doing something so despicable, and their actions weren't so despicable, it would just be funny. So this doesn't drive me crazy. I just have to point out how idiotic they are.
To us by one of our supporters, really breaks down what had happened on June 15th, the day that
I'm your biggest fan. I'm your biggest fan. Such a dirty birdie. You dirty birdie. She, like, imagine that think about it. She would be misery, bro, if that was a sledgehammer in her hand and she's about to hobble somebody's feet. That would that would absolutely be her.
Summer Wells went missing. So on June 15th, according to Candace and Hunter, they dropped off a Grandis at 8 a.m. at Ballard Health. Picked up 8, went over to Macbeth's home around 8, hung out there until about 10:30, where Candace said they were going to go fishing at the watering hole while they waited for Grandis. Ballard's health called them to pick up Grandis. We don't really have a time when that happened. They went to
you don't have a time when anything happened.
Discount tobacco store. They went to the original hippie house. They went to Walgreens to drop off the script around 1:30. They went to Warriors.
Okay. They went to the happy house. They went to Walgreens. They went to Warriors. Why is it eliminated? Why is the possibility in their minds that someone could have followed them eliminated from their minds? From going to all these public places, why is the possibility that somebody could have followed them not even in their minds?
Park for about 30 minutes. Then they went to Sonic, Priceless grocery store.
Look at all these public places.
Not sure which one they stopped, but she gave me the address of the one that makes sense. And they dropped off Macbeth around 2:30. Water drug video was around 3:09.
And I promise you that's the first time she's ever read that. I promise you that. I'm willing to bet my balls on it.
Hill Road. So 110 Ben Hill Road. So we have a decent timeline. There is only a little bit of time from about, I would say about 3:30 to about 5:30. So we've narrowed down the window to 2 hours where we don't know where they were and what they were doing. So we need to close that gap on 2 hours to find out what happened. We know that Candace did leave the property. She, in her own words, drove like a bat out of hell when she found out that Summer went missing. My question is
okay. That means that she went looking for her daughter. Stupid.
If you had a child that you told friends that walked out of the home, you would think that you would work an 11-acre property. The idea that you are actually getting in a vehicle and leaving that property to find a daughter that was lost on the property, I think that's where we have a problem with her action.
Well, if you can't find her on the property, well, then you're going to look off of the property because you're scared, because you're hoping to find her alive somewhere. See, this right there is an indication, a very, very obvious indication of someone who is thinking only based on the assumption that these people did something to their daughter, eliminating any other possibilities. Because either you're thinking on that and you're a moron, or you're just a moron. Because any parent who searches the property as much as they possibly can, going, Summer, 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 where are you? Where are you? Oh shit, she's not here. Maybe she wandered off. Maybe she wandered down the street. I'm going to get in my car and I'm going to go look for her. How do you know that something happened to her on the property? You're just jumping to that conclusion.
That day, I feel in my heart that when she left that property, Summer Wells was in that vehicle with her, and I want to know where she went.
Well,
you have nothing. You have nothing to indicate that. You have no evidence to indicate that. Because if you did, you would have explained that. If you had any common sense as far as discussing a crime case on a YouTube channel, like literally every other crime creator that I know of, you would have explained how you came to that conclusion. Any credible one, anyway.
She died at the swimming hole. She died because they wouldn't have been making those types of trips after. So secondhand drowning is possible.
And
okay, so okay, idiot, moron. If Summer died at the water hole and they made all of those stops afterwards, right? They're just driving around in public with a dead kid in the car. That's what they're doing. They're just like, it's all good. That's you're actually sitting here saying that you think that she died in the swimming hole because they made all those multiple stops after the swimming hole. That's really what you're saying right now. That's your logic. That is the stupidest fucking thing I've heard yet. That is easily the stupidest fucking thing I've heard yet.
Okay, possible and probable. So leaning towards an accident.
Yeah, it's
so
but
instead.
then we could also
listen to how the minds work.
Think about it. This is the problem I have. Okay, if anybody's watched, I have watched my cousin die. Okay, I watched her die in a hospital. I watched her die. I watched her shiver. I watched her lose her life in a hospital. And we're talking about a really hot day. And they're talking about that summer was very, very cold, shivering cold. So much so that they had to stop and wrap her in all these warm clothes on such a hot day.
Because she just got out of a fucking lake, stupid. She just got out of a fucking lake. They probably didn't bring a towel. So they put her in clothes. Because she was cold. Dummy.
Was she in the process of dying when they put that jacket on her?
What's with the blood? Did anybody find out what the blood was on?
I didn't see any blood on her.
Blood.
There is blood on her.
That pointed out. There's a little patch of round oval blood right where the sweater meets the seatbelt, yes. And it's always been conundrum as
There's
to where
no
that.
blood.
I have to
There's no
and
blood.
no one talks about it.
Yeah, I saw the purpling of
Yeah,
the
nope.
pupils.
Yeah, that was.
No one talks about it because there was no blood, stupid.
The most but you know, and that's what made me think that was at that moment when that picture was taken, that was her final picture for memory purposes. That's just my opinion. But again, like I said, I've actually watched the life go out of somebody.
Like, and she still made it about her. So she still managed to make it about her. Incredible. Let me look something up here. Give me a second. Like that was mind-numbingly stupid. That was incredibly. I just watched 4 people work in concert to create a sphere of stupidity. It was incredible. Crazy. Okay, so now they're in front of
right here,
the Wells property.
Candace Block, child abuser from Wisconsin, neglects children, abuses children. Look at these dogs.
how beautiful
Look at
the
these dogs out here. He gives the
eyes.
dogs food. They're hungry. There's
Oh
his
my
dog.
Now you see these
That's
dogs.
the Wells dogs.
Look
There's
at the
lots of
According to them, these dogs, there's no way somebody could have came onto that property without those dogs barking. I don't hear any dogs barking right now. You guys hear? Are they the dog whisperers collectively? Did one of them, before they turned on the camera, do a Crocodile Dundee and be like, and chill out? I mean, it makes no sense.
Beautiful eyes. Hi, sweetie. Aw. You a good girl?
Lock her up.
You good girls? Hello. Oh, look how beautiful.
Lock them up.
Look at these. The beautiful, so beautiful.
So I love this,
come
dude.
on.
I love this because
Oh my
I mean,
God, these
They got all their children taken.
it's funny to me. Like, I think it sucks that they're in front of the Wells home and the purpose is there to harass. But what's really funny to me, right, crude AF, that's exactly what I was just saying, dude. That's exactly what I was just saying, my man. That, like, their whole thing was the dogs would have been barking. The dogs would have been barking. But I don't hear any dogs barking right now. Does anybody hear any dogs barking right now? I don't hear any dogs barking right now. But this is
beautiful.
this is the biggest thing, because take a look at the surroundings.
They can't take care of their children. Why are they able to take care of animals?
They got their signs out.
Bring it.
They're all hyped, right? Look. They're all hyped. Bring it. They're getting their signs out because they're in front of the Wells property on the bottom of the hill. Do you even see a house?
Still right there.
On you, Wells.
This is
Okay, so here we go.
Animals when you don't even have TBI's problem is, but you're making a mockery of Tennessee law enforcement. You should be in jail. You should be in jail for
So they got a bullhorn.
child endangerment, child neglect. You should be in jail for the crimes upon these animals.
So who are they talking to right now? Are they talking to the bunny rabbits in the woods? Is that who they're protesting to? Are they talking to the bunny rabbits and the raccoons? Are they talking to the deer? Are they going to give the dogs flyers of Summer Wells and ask them if if they've seen Summer? Is that what they're going to do? Is Bambi and Thumper going to come out and be like, "Can we help?" Is that what their plan is? Like, who are they protesting to right now? Who are they protesting to?
We thank you for turning other animals in, but why are you able to have animals when you don't even have your freaking kids?
Your dogs are down here running loose.
Your dogs are down here running loose.
Shame on you.
Shame on you, Dirty Wells. Shame on you.
Shame on you, Wells.
This is our second time. This is not our last time coming
There's
here.
literally
This is
nothing
Michael
there.
Riley, and I have your number. We know that you and your
There's literally nothing there, dude. Like, what are they hoping to do? Melt the snow with their mouths?
Mother, know what
With their
happened
breath?
this summer. We know. We are convinced that you know where Summer Moon Utah Wells is.
Justice for Summer!
We pray every day that this little girl is alive, but you're not doing anything to look for her. Why aren't you trying to look for her? She's your baby, not ours.
I'm
You don't
so
want any help.
like, I'm so glad that they're not just shitty people, but they're stupid too, so that we can laugh at this. Like, I'm really glad. I'm glad that they're not just shitty, you know, because I've dealt with shitty YouTubers before. I've dealt with that, but I've never dealt with shitty and stupid people collectively, like 4 of them. I've never seen that before. Like, thank goodness for that, so that we can laugh.
You think you're going to call law enforcement and think they're going to protect you? You guys are the criminals, not us. We want.
So, guilty much? You guys are the criminals, not us. But yet, they're showing up at their house. They're showing up on the Wells property. They're yelling and screaming. They're calling their cell phones and leaving messages repeatedly. This is pure harassment. That's all this is pure harassment. And those of you who support them and gave them money, this is what you paid for. You paid for this. I wonder if you could honestly ask yourself, did you get your money's worth? Now, if you paid for them to harass them, then okay, sure. If you're the kind of idiot asshole that jumped to the conclusion that they're guilty without any evidence at all, ignoring the evidence that's to the contrary, well, then okay, I guess you got your money's worth. I mean, basically what you did was you bought a pet rock. This is the YouTube content equivalent to a pet rock spending money on. Like,
Find this baby.
Where's Summer?
Where's the baby?
Where's
I mean, dude, like, the sea monkeys in the back of an old comic book would have been a more sound investment.
Candace?
Give it up. Your life will never be the same again.
Shame on you, child abuser.
How dare you?
Shame
We
on you.
saw
You'll
all the
never get
police
your
reports
voice
to
back.
this address, giving minors drugs and alcohol. How dare you? This is why you've had every child in your company be taken away. You give birth to every child has been taken away because you are, in fact, an unfit mother. And you're sitting up on this hill, inviting a bunch of junkies and lowlifes, bringing down the value of this land.
Now, they're talking about how the dogs are neglected and abused, right? You're talking about how the dogs are neglected and abused. But like, you don't think that this is like traumatizing those dogs, making all this noise? Now, think about this. Look at all of the ruckus they're making. All of the ruckus they're making, and the dogs still haven't barked. The dogs still haven't barked. Panda, like, if somebody opens the door, Panda barks. If somebody walks in the back here behind my apartment, Panda barks. Like, yet these people are so convinced that there's no way those dogs would have been barking. There's no way those dogs wouldn't have been barking if somebody had approached that property. Yet they've been here yelling and screaming through a bullhorn with the most obnoxious sounding voices I've ever heard. And yet I haven't heard a dog bark. Not yet.
Making a mockery out of your daughter, TBI and Hawkins County Police. You failed this baby.
Okay,
Now
God.
you know what? We're not going to stop. We will not.
I can only take so much of this.
Horrible, horrible people that won't even help us find your.
Like, why do
What are you hiding? Where are you hiding this baby? Nobody scaled the mountain and took your child.
look at that? Anybody could walk through that. Anybody could walk through that. Like, and why did they get the signs out of the car? Who are the signs for? Who are the flyers for? Because dickhead JLR has the flyers in his hand. Who is he planning on passing those flyers out to? No, that's clearly a hill. You're right. That is not a mountain. That is not a mountain.
What were you doing with Macbeth that day? What were you doing with a 15-year-old boy? What happened? What were you doing with Macbeth?
Right. I mean, this is clearly evidence.
You told them.
They're just filming each other. This is clearly evidence that they're the only people they're doing this for are the people watching on YouTube. That's it. They're only doing this for content. Only. There's no other logical reason behind it. Like, I just, are they passing out flyers to
You told her
to the wood creatures?
we're going fishing and you don't bring your own boys? Why? Because the boys had to clean their house?
We'll be
For
back,
CPS?
Candace. This is not going away.
Great!
This
Great!
is not going away,
You're-
Candace.
Candace, we're
Done
coming
well.
back!
I can't wait till they get arrested. It's like, it's Sunflower. You're right. You're right. You're right. Yeah, they're absolutely exploiting this child for personal gain. That is exactly what they're doing. I mean, this is never going to get, this is never going to get positive attention from mainstream media. It's never going to get attention from positive mainstream media. There's no way that anybody with common sense doesn't see this as pure harassment. And I really hope they get arrested for it. I really hope. Like, they all got priors. Everybody except Olivia's got priors. I swear to you that Olivia is there just, she can't wait. She can't wait for that to happen because it's going to be such good content for her. She's going to edit it, you know, and she's going to twist it to be a big farce. She's going to come off like, oh, I was just undercover, you know, like, which is bullshit, but that would be so funny. But I mean, it's the wintertime. The bears are hibernating right now. But I would love to see, I can't wait to see them act victimized, like there was some conspiracy. But I mean, at some point, like, when is enough going to be enough? Because, like I said, I don't see Sheriff Lawson being like, you know what, we're going to pick her up for trespassing because of their last trip out here. So I don't see Sheriff Lawson doing that, and for reasons that I explained yesterday. But I can see it becoming, at least I would hope so. I could see it becoming an issue of enough is enough. You know, like these people have rights too. You can't just keep, you know, messing with them. You know what I mean? I mean, there's mountain lions and stuff like that. I don't know what their hibernation habits are. I mean, they could, but that's if they turn out to be innocent. If they get cleared, or if they get arrested, go to trial, and then get cleared, they could file. But I guarantee you that if they do get arrested, it's because law enforcement has enough evidence to convict them. But the fact that it's taken 6 months, you know, but all these cases take a long time, man. All these cases take a long time. It took over a year for Barry Morphew, I believe, to get arrested. And he still might get off. He still might get off. So, I mean, yeah, right. Yeah, they woke him up. Yeah, they probably woke him up. That would have been an angry bear if it would have came out. It is absolutely up to the prosecutors if they get arrested. People don't understand that. People don't understand that. And that's what's funny. They understand that the least. At no point did they say, you know what we need to do? We need to talk to the district attorney. At no point did they say that, because it is absolutely up to the district attorney whether or not law enforcement has collected enough evidence to arrest them, because it's the district attorney who's going to create a case to present in court in order to convict. And again, they need to be able to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt. So they will not arrest unless they are absolutely confident that they can do that in a court of law. It won't happen otherwise. It just won't. So just to show how ignorant they are and how little they know about how an investigation takes place, they haven't once mentioned, we're going to go talk to the district attorney. Not once. It's all the TBI's fault. It's all the sheriff. It's all the sheriff's fault. It's all the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office fault. Right? But the district attorney is the one who determines whether or not there is enough evidence to convict. And they won't arrest unless there's enough evidence to convict, or at least unless they're confident that there's enough evidence to convict. So the only reason they haven't picked him up yet is because they don't have enough evidence yet. Right. The FBI are involved. The FBI, the TBI, and the Hawkins County Sheriff's Department are all involved. I mean, yeah, for sure. The DA is on weekend vacay, but I'm saying if you were planning a trip, right? Because they're going to be here Monday and Tuesday too. They're going to be here a while. So if you were planning a trip, right? Because if I was planning on doing what they're doing, if I was so convinced that they're that there's not enough of an investigation taking place. And I was going down there to protest, right? And I was so convinced that Don and Candace were guilty. What I would be doing prior and for content is before I even got down here during a live stream, I would have called the DA's office. I would have absolutely called the DA's office, had the phone like this, and started asking questions. It's exactly what I would have done. And been like, can we meet? I'm going to be there. Can I have an appointment 5 minutes with you just to ask about the Summer Wells case? Now, they probably would have gotten rejected, but I mean, yeah, and this is Molly Golightly's MO, man. She does this. She's been doing this. She harassed the Rucheks. She's harassed Cash Gernon's family. And now she's doing this to Summer Wells' family. Everything that she's done has been the wrong thing to do regarding these types of cases. Everything that she's done on YouTube regarding these kind of cases has been exactly the wrong thing to do. Consistently. I'm going to do something fun. Because why the fuck not? Anybody want to come up here? The link is in the chat. Cherry, relax. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. I mean, I've got 350 people watching. Somebody's got to have an opinion. Oh, we got somebody. All right. Sack and Fox Nanny. Can't hear you. Hello. All right. All right. So if anybody calls in, you got to make sure that your mic is not muted. You don't have to have your camera on, but make sure that your mic is not muted. So you got to allow access to your camera and mic once you click on StreamYard. And then you just disable your camera if you don't want to be on camera, but your mic can't be muted. Okay. All right. She's back. Sack and Fox Nanny. You there? Can't hear you. Yes. Also shut your YouTube off so you don't echo. Exactly. But, you got to actually speak. All right. Well, all right. Last time. I'm going to give it one more chance. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. All right. All right. Sorry about that, but I tried like 3 times. What's up, Leo? What are you doing, buddy? Don't do it. Don't start. Bless you. Don't start. No, I mean, just call me Hen. I'm just seeing if anybody's got any opinions. Here we go. I got somebody. Hi, Queen of Spade.
Hi, Claire. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. I really enjoy your show. And
Oh,
I
right
just
on.
wanted
Thank
to,
you.
yeah, I just wanted to come on because I've been watching a little bit of what Molly's been doing with the coverage of her YouTube channel and the content she creates. I
Mhm.
do agree that she is very harassing, and I am not really sure what the point of going to the Wells home and doing that would be.
Like, why did they bring the signs out? For what? Like, who's
Yeah, like
gonna see
nobody was
them?
there.
Like, I was waiting for like a live action Disney cartoon to where all these animals come out going, oh.
Yeah, I don't even think the Wells were home when they went. So I'm pretty sure they're just yelling like in like out to the woods. And then I also don't understand, like, if they actually did think that the investigation wasn't going as it should, and you brought up how you would go and talk to the DA and all that. My thing is, wouldn't they then want to, like,
Well, you're never
go.
going to just be able to get in to talk to the DA, but you could at least make a phone call before you make the trip so you could plan your trip. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And be like, call the DA's office and at least maybe get to talk to somebody, you know?
Yeah, but if they also had a problem with the investigation, what would yelling in front of the Wells home do? Wouldn't you
Right.
want to go and then picket, like, in front of the courthouse or the police station if that was your goal?
Right. I mean, or you pick it in front of the DA's office. Let's say they
Yeah, the
refuse to
DA's
talk to
office.
you, wherever it
Yeah.
is, which is probably in the courthouse or something, maybe, I don't know. But I mean, wouldn't that make the most sense? I mean,
Well,
but because obviously it's going to be more public too. You know what I mean? You're going to get when you're protesting. The whole point behind protesting is you're getting people's attention. You're educating people. You're complaining. That's why you hold
yeah.
up signs and you say,
Yeah, you want a
and
crowd there.
then you get people going, hey, what's this all about? And then you educate people. You hand them literature and you say, hey, don't let these people get away with blah, 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 blah. Get out and vote. Do this, do that. That's what you do when you picket, when you protest. That's you're trying to educate people. You're trying to spread awareness, right? So why, it's so funny. Not only do they not have any idea how an investigation takes place, but they don't have any idea how a protest or what even the point of a protest is. So this is absolute proof that that Bullhorn Betty, being a known as a professional protester, right?
No.
Like, no, because she
There's no
doesn't
way
clearly
she
doesn't
is.
even understand the point of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's a clout chaser, and she's not doing very good at it. You know, like all she's doing is making a clown of herself and giving me and and people and creators like Crude AF and Burnt Toast and now John content a scandal. That's the name of his new channel. So I mean, she's proving, Bullhorn Betty is proving that she is the Karen. Like, I've never seen a more Karen ever in my life.
Yeah.
Like if there was a comic book of Karens, of a Karen being the main character who had like superpowers, it would be based on her. Like, there's no, like, I can't. She's like,
I can't
a
believe
Karen
that
made.
she knows how to protest after what you just displayed on your screen that they were doing.
That's what I'm saying. Is like
there's no way
both
this
places that they
woman-
went to, they were just yelling at each other. There was nobody else around. There was nobody else
Yeah,
around.
like
They were
that's
just
not
yelling
even
at
a
each other.
protest. I mean, what is?
It's
I do believe that it was just for the YouTube to record on YouTube and then
That's
put
all
it
it
up,
was.
which
That's
I
all
don't
it
think
was.
that does much either at this point because it's already gotten a lot of YouTube attention. And I think at this point, like, what if the Wells are innocent? This is my
Right.
thing. Like, they could be guilty, but what if they are innocent? Because then you have to
Right.
think, well, then these people are missing their child, and then they have people outside in the woods screaming at them.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
like that would be
That's
awful to go through.
This is right. This has been my way of thinking since I started this channel. I mean, yeah. After the Watts case, that experience really woke me up. Like, even my
was
behavior was questionable, to say the least. Even my behavior was. Panda, chill out. See, like, the other dogs walked by. The other dogs that live here walked by, and Panda barked. And the other dogs in the video didn't even like bark when they were blowing bullhorns and screaming and yelling at the top of their lungs.
That was actually a good thing to see because I think a lot of people have said that there's no way that someone could go on the
A
property
lot of people said that
without the dogs barking. So I think it was good to see that. Yeah, actually, you can have freaking Molly and Bullhorn out there screaming at the top of their lungs, and apparently that doesn't do anything.
Exactly. Hey, thanks for coming on. I'm gonna let somebody else on, but
Thank you
I
for
really
having me.
appreciate.
Good job.
Yeah, thanks
Have a good
thanks
one.
thanks for watching. I really appreciate it.
Hello.
Sav, what's up?
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Them hens, them clucking hens have made me so daggone mad. They are ridiculous. They are ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's all for money. We all know it.
Right. And it's not even for that much money. You know what I mean?
It ain't even for like millions and like million views. You're not even hitting that.
Right.
Juicy.
Right. It's not even economically sound.
No.
It's not economically viable at all. Like, because they've raised pretty much enough money. Like, Molly flew out there. How much do you think a plane ticket cost? You know what I mean? She flew out there. They're eating at restaurants 3 times a day.
Exactly.
They're staying at an Airbnb that's $200 a night.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, so when they leave this, they're going to be broke, because the longer that this goes on, the more they show how useless their efforts are and pointless their efforts are. And people are going to donate less and less and less and less. And as long as they're out here doing this, I'm going to be talking about it. Crude AF is going to be talking about it. Crude AF is going live at 3:30.
Yeah, I saw that.
So,
Yeah. I'm
so
handling over here on our end, over here in this little drama community. Where I'm handling it over here. I don't know if anybody else is going to pick up on it, but we're not happy over here in this little community, because we've seen what Molly and Laura and now this blowhard Betty chick has come on the scene, and she has no room to talk about anyone with her daggone mug shots. Okay, she don't. But that them stand. I don't understand how they can get away with just standing outside somebody's daggone residence with a bullhorn, telling them how bad of a parent they are, when these one of them don't even have no kids, and the other one, she running around selling her mouth the whole time her youngins were daggone, her child was growing up.
two don't
But you
have
got the
kids.
audacity to sit there and judge somebody else's parenting skills. Come on now.
Right. Like two of them don't even have kids. Like it's two of them. And
Right.
and like, and I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to judge anybody's parenting skills. So
Right.
I'm not going to talk about Molly Golightly and her parenting skills because I don't know. I honestly don't. I don't live there. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we just see what's put in front of us. That's how I'm judging it. What I'm being seen is what I'm judging my opinion on. That makes sense.
Right. But at the same time, I don't think it's unfair. I don't think it's unfair, Panda, please. I don't think it's unfair to call her a hypocrite, because what we've seen, or at least what I've seen Dawn and Candace be the most guilty of, is getting intoxicated and yelling and screaming at each other and threatening violence towards each other.
Right.
That's what I've seen. Okay. But I've also seen Molly Golightly get intoxicated, yell and scream, and threaten violence at people.
Exactly.
So I don't see why she gets to call them bad parents. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. That's I agree.
No, I'm not calling her a bad parent. I'm just saying she doesn't get to call anybody else bad parents based on the things that she's calling them bad parents about.
Exactly.
See what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I'm from North Carolina, so I got a different way of putting it.
It's all right. That's all right. I mean, I gave up
like it is over here.
Yeah, I gave up on trying to get ads run on this. I mean, I set it for that, and it just doesn't happen lately. A lot of creators are dealing with that in the crime community right now. So, but at this point, it's like whatever. If you wanna cuss up a storm, man. I don't care.
Yeah, I just my take on it, what they're doing is so disrespectful to that little girl. I mean, and I think I'm getting so emotionally involved in it because my grandchild just turned 3. And ever since this has happened, I just look at her and I was like, well, that could be that child. That could be her one day. You never know. It could be her. And the way people are just, looking at this little girl as a moneymaker, it just turns my stomach. I don't understand how these people can sleep at night knowing
and admitting it too. Like I've seen people be exploitive of missing persons or someone murdered. I've seen them do it and not really realize that that's what they're doing. I've seen good people, good creators who are, I've seen it happen. But I these people are basically admitting what they're doing,
right in front
and
of
based on their history, based on their criminal history. I mean, you have one who's been convicted of fraud, you have another that's been arrested multiple times for theft,
right?
And then you have another one that has been arrested multiple times for violent crimes, and one of those for strangling someone.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
And I even saw a video that somebody created, another creator created, where we're talking about somebody who was protesting the Laundry House. And what did Brian Laundrie do? He strangled his girlfriend to death in a domestic violence case. And then here she is, someone who got charged because maybe she wasn't strong enough to choke somebody to death. but she
Mhm.
tried, because you don't
Exactly.
strangle somebody if you're not trying to, end them.
Oh,
You don't
exactly.
strangle somebody. That's an act of attempted murder. The
That's
fact that she
exactly
didn't get
right.
charged with attempted murder is a miracle to me. So,
It's
all right,
just
bye,
they're a
Cherry.
joke.
Thank you for everything.
I mean, they're just a joke, and they're just like, I don't destroying this little girl's like memory. Her whole. I mean, she's just a little girl, y'all. Y'all don't understand. I don't know. I'm just coming with it differently. I just feel so differently now.
Well, logic
You know, you
dictates that this girl's only chance, considering what little answers we have, it's
Mhm.
got to be up to the professionals. We have to
I
trust.
agree.
We don't have a choice. If we care about this little girl, we have to trust the professionals and do our part as far as what they say we should do. And you know what they say we should do? If you hear anything, call 1-800 TBI find. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Because,
Let
you
us handle it. Let us figure it out.
you know what? I'm just afraid that what they're doing is going to like mess up any future like evidence or findings, or we might be able to find her somewhere. I feel like they're just messing it up for everybody. I know I don't come off with the big words, I know, but this is just how I
You're
feel.
fine.
They're gonna mess it up. They're gonna mess it up. And I feel, and I hate that for the family and that little girl, because it's like all to them it's just dollar signs. To some people, it's not. They really
Because
want to find out what happened to her.
all of their actions indicate that their motive is to harass the Wells family. So what good is that going to do? Do they think that they're going to break them and they're all of a sudden going to go, yeah, we did it? No, that's not what's going to happen. Like, worst case scenario is they're going to do something irrational. Worst case scenario is do something irrational, but it's not going to be admitting to something, because they've gone 6 months without admitting to anything or breaking their story.
Right.
They've gone 6 months.
And lie detectors. I mean, that was my whole point in the other day when I first said something about these people. What do you think you're going to do that the officers, the detectives, the investigators, everyone out there has not done? What do you think you're going to do?
Especially when every theory that they come up with is absolutely asinine.
Exactly.
It never makes sense. Every tactic that knocking on meth doors.
Do they want? They're really going to get shot.
Right.
Get shot.
Right. And I don't want none of them to get hurt. I'm not a vicious person, but I definitely don't want Don to get hurt. You know what I mean?
Now, I wouldn't mind if they got slapped a little bit. Them two bitches, I'm sorry. Them people over there, I wouldn't mind if they get slapped. Let them get slapped.
So I got a couple other people, and I want to give Soper Girl a chance to talk real quick, because I know she's been trying to come on.
I can hit off. I'll hit off. Thank you for letting me come up and just voice my opinion. And
No
I think
problem.
we all need to keep our boots on their necks, because they're sweating. They're getting trolls now. I've noticed that. So everyone stay on their neck.
Yeah, I mean, if they're gonna, I feel perfectly justified in doing what I'm doing, because they're harassing based on nothing.
Exactly.
So it's nothing but harassment. So, and this is, again, I hate to use this word because I'm sick of hearing it, but it's fair use.
It is.
Like, you put yourself out there on the internet, you put yourself out there to be made fun of. It's that simple. I get hate. It happens. I understand it happens.
But y'all have a good day. I'll be listening.
You too, Sef. Thank you.
Thank you for letting me up. Have a good day. Bye.
You too. All right.
Hi, Will. Hi, chat.
Hi, Soper Girl.
I first want to say thank you so much for everything. I've been with you since the beginning.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Yeah. What is happening now is it's horrific. It's absolutely horrific. It's not okay. Really bad things can happen from this. You can't say on a live video, hey, I'm going to go kick in the meth dealer store, yeah, I think that's going to work out real well for you. Probably not so much.
Right. It's not. There's no way it would be.
No,
There's no way it
absolutely.
would.
But for you to always put the truth, the facts, and nothing but, it is super respectful of you. And it's how it needs to be handled. It's not okay to be like, well, you know what? These people, they're crazy. Yeah, they really kind of are. But that doesn't mean they've done the ultimate, the ultimate crime. And better yet, carried it off. Because I don't think they're smart enough to, outdo all of these agencies. I just don't think they're that intelligent. Yes, they're
No. Well, they're
dysfunctional
not
people.
even close.
No, not
Like they're not
whatsoever.
even remotely intelligent enough to do it.
No.
Like, and the sad part is they're smart enough to know that what they're doing is for personal gain. They know it. Like that's what makes their actions malicious. They know it, but they don't. But they're too ignorant to realize that their greed is blinding their logic, and they're not looking at the ripple effect of what their actions could cause, as far as what could happen to Summer, and finding out what happens to her and getting her justice.
Because this is no way real investigatory work. They're not.
No.
They're doing nothing. They're doing nothing of good. They're doing nothing. They're standing there with bullhorns, screaming at the back end of a driveway at a building where there's no people, there's no traffic, there's no nothing. Like you had said, call the DA. We have that right. Whether they're going to talk to you or not, it's a chance you can take. They've not done that. They're picking up potential evidence, not handling it correctly. So many things. I'm like, okay, backwoods Barbie, you are not, honey. Sit down, take a seat, and let the real people do what they do.
It's just so funny to me.
It is. I mean, and it's sad and scary. It's all the things.
Yeah. Like, and it was like John was explaining last night. He was like, the TBI, you're talking about, and I've been saying they're trained professionals. They this is what they do. That's what they're trained to do. And the TBI, they're college educated people. They're, you know what I mean?
This is their job.
They're not only trained to do this, but they're educated in forensics. They're educated in all kinds of different things, psychology, whatnot. Yes. These are very educated people. These are the top of the heap as far as law enforcement in Tennessee.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What do you think you're doing? You know what I mean? What is wrong with you where you think that you are educated enough to determine whether or not they're doing a good job?
Right. And they're not even educated enough not to know to pick up a toy knife on the ground without, a plastic bag, something that doesn't have your DNA all over it.
Did you hear what Blowhard Betty said about that?
No,
that
I
she
did
picked.
not. Yes.
She was bragging about that they took her DNA
from another crime scene, from the knife from another crime scene. Yes.
Oh, that was another one. Yeah, it was an actual murder weapon, I think, right?
Yes, an actual.
She was bragging about the fact that they took her DNA because she wanted to be involved, but she's so ignorant and so narcissistic that she can't realize that what she did was make the investigation more difficult. Absolutely. What she did was possibly blew the investigation. She could have blown it.
100%.
She could have blown the entire case.
Because there gives you reasonable doubt. There's someone else's
DNA on the knife.
So prove I did it. This woman's DNA's on it too. So,
and she's bragging about it.
It's sick.
And then she goes, but you know what? I didn't have rubber gloves, but I put rubber gloves on the wish list, and then we got rubber gloves, so we won't be doing that again. Dude, go to Walgreens. They're $4 for a box.
I mean, they were there picking up a printer, tearing it open in the aisle of Walmart, not even knowing the printer came with fucking ink. But yeah, you couldn't stop and get some gloves while you're there. I'm sure they have it with some masks and all the things.
I was a professional body piercer for almost 10 years. I went through a box of gloves a week A
bet.
box of glove, and I wasn't even in that busy of a shop. But I went through a box of glove a week because of cross contamination. You can't touch
Right.
one thing and touch the next thing the same thing with the same gloves.
Right.
You can't.
It's sad. I mean, in my mind, it's all for financial gain is why they're doing this, and it's so sad because this is a real whole missing child.
It's not even, and it's
them
not even that
screaming-
lucrative. They're
No.
spending more than they're making on
Yes.
nothing. It's a vacation for them. They're
And
just
that's what I was getting ready
sightseeing.
to say, a vacation. And it's kind of, I know I'm in Kentucky, and I've got almost 9 inches of snow on the ground, and it's cold here. I know it's cold in Tennessee too. I'm not that far away. So this is no vacation I want to take. No
Yeah.
vacation.
It was like, I remember because I got all hyped up. I got all excited because I was like, they're going to go protest the TBI, blah, blah, blah. And immediately I imagined the Brian Laundrie House protest, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna counter protest. You know what I mean? I'm gonna counter protest.
I'm glad
But then,
you didn't go. I'm
but
glad
then
you
as soon as I actually took a second and actually imagined the scenario and what it would be like, considering and compared the cases, I was like, that's not going to happen. Like, I was like, what? That's not going to do any good. I was like, these people are going to look like complete and total buffoons.
Yes.
Because there's not going to be anybody there.
No. And there's not. There
And
wasn't.
if I show up there and counter protest them, then all I'm doing is adding to their content because they're only there for the content.
Right.
I don't want to add to their content.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely.
And I don't want to gain publicity the same way that they gain it. You know, I want to earn my listeners' respect. I don't want to just gain a bunch of subs because a news station did a story on me. That
was backwards anyways and not correct. And
yeah, like it was hilarious to me that they even gave them the attention.
I couldn't believe when I seen the police show up, or was it Homeland Security?
Yeah, it was
like, we can give you a spot way back here in the back of the parking lot. I'm like, are you serious?
Just call me Hen. You want to chime in here?
Hello. Yeah, sorry, I didn't want to. I'm a polite British person. Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well. Oh, sweet. A limey. I love it. I got a limey on my panel.
Ah, you have. You've heard me speak before. Anyway, so I was just wanting to have a little Molly go lighting and all that lot. They're a load of trash. They are trash. But I think in this particular case, there's very much classism. So we look at the Wells family as low class, and we treat them as low class, and we treat them as scum. And not personally me, but people do. If you compare it to a case in Britain, the Madeleine McCann case, I don't know if you heard that one.
Yeah.
You must have. Yes.
I'm not familiar with the details of it, but
Okay.
I am familiar with the Madeleine McCann case.
Yes.
Super. It's well known. It's still going on. It's still an ongoing case. She went missing in 2007, and it's still an ongoing case. And her parents were middle class. And I'm sorry, but there was absolutely neglectful. Absolutely neglectful. They left 3 children in a hotel room while they went out for dinner.
Wow.
And they've never, ever been charged with neglect. And you've got the Wells family, lower class. First thing they're pulled up for is neglecting their children. And that's class. That's a big class issue. And everyone's going to treat them as scumbags because they're lower class. It's disgusting. That's my opinion.
I agree. I mean, just because we don't like the home they live in, or their family appears to be dysfunctional, doesn't make them murderers. It doesn't make them anything. It makes them live a little bit of different life than what you or I may live. I don't live in some upscale home in the back of, Beverly Hills. No, I'm in Kentucky. I know a lot of families that live like that. They're perfectly great people. They just live differently, and there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing. Yeah. And it doesn't make them horrible, awful people because of it.
It makes them human.
Yes. And I think it is very unsafe. I'm with Dawn. I think it's very unsafe for those kids to be there right now because of things like this.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah, I mean, if the kids hadn't been taken away now, I mean, it would
I
make
think it would have
sense.
happened though.
Yeah, I think so too. But if at this point, I mean, what if the kids were there now, and then you had this group of idiots yelling and screaming horrible things about their
Absolutely.
parents in front of their
fair.
property? You know what I mean? Could you just imagine, like,
I can't. I would be those children would be absolutely terrified. I assume. I would be if I had people in front of my house screaming and shouting, especially during the worst days of my life. This is their child.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick my child every time over someone else's because that's my child.
Sure.
There's no way we love Summer more than Candace and Dawn do. Are they great people? Maybe not. They might not be, but that doesn't make them guilty of anything. And no evidence that we've been shown yet shows that they are.
It doesn't mean they don't love their children either.
Exactly.
Right.
You
they might not know how. You know what I
here.
mean?
My sister and my nephew are walking up my driveway, and my dog's going to go crazy. So I'm going to be listening, but I'm going to hop off. Thank you so much, Will.
Hey, you're
I
welcome.
love you
Thank you.
I'll be back. You all have a good one. I'm going to keep listening.
You too.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
I must say, the Wells family have very quiet dogs compared to the rest of you.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, this everything that these people are doing just makes them look dumber and dumber. Like, each day that goes by,
I couldn't agree more. I think they're absolutely disgusting what they're doing.
It's crazy. Even Laura is saying it, because Laura was like, I mean, I didn't listen to her live last night, but I saw her in the chat, and she was like, what did you get done today? You know what I mean? Like, you didn't get anything done. Like, what did you accomplish? They accomplished nothing. They accomplished the Wells being capable of building towar's a harassment case against them.
Absolutely.
That's all they've accomplished.
And if I was in the Wells' position, I would be building. They haven't got the money. That's the problem. They haven't got the money.
Well, I mean, but they can absolutely have them arrested.
Mm-hmm.
And
I would.
I mean,
and I would.
But that's the thing is, I don't get. That's the thing is yeah, Candace called the cops and wanted to have her arrested. But after so long of God knows how much harassment, because people have been accusing them from the beginning. Yeah. So for 6 months, they've been dealing with this sort of thing. And now it's worse than ever. But see, the thing is I don't think that Dawn and Candace are the cop calling types.
No.
You know what I mean? I think that they're the last resort. We'll call the cops,
Well, they're not going to be. If they've been in trouble with the cops themselves before,
sure,
they're not going to be cop lovers, are they? Do you know what I mean? They're not going to win the police turning up at their doors, because they've had the police turning up at their door all the way through this. They're not going to want that. They're trying to avoid that because they're trying to, I don't know, get on with their lives while still worried about Summer and what's happened to her. I feel for them. I wouldn't want to be in their situation.
I do too. Like I said, I mean, are they dealing with it the same way that I would if my small child went missing? No. But again, I've never had a small child go missing, so I don't know. You know what I mean?
Okay, how would you handle it if your small child was missing?
In theory, I would be blasting media to make sure. Like, I would like to think that I would have handled it the way that the Petitos and the Schmitz handled it. I'd like to think that. In theory, absolutely. But the thing is again, I've never had a small child go missing. I've never had a small child go missing on top of having my sister go missing earlier in my life. So I could see them being the type who take depressants for recreation or to self-medicate. I could see them being that type to just be like, you know what? Fuck it, man. Fuck it. Like, this is what my life
curl
is.
Curl up in a
Right.
ball and pretend the world isn't
Sure.
happening. Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's the right thing to do, but I'm also not saying that I don't understand it and I don't empathize with them for it.
Have you ever lost someone close to you? Like
Oh, I've lost so many.
And
yeah.
You got to think about how you reacted in that situation. That's how they're reacting. They're grieving. Even though they don't know their daughter's dead, they're grieving. And they're not just grieving the loss of their daughter, they're grieving the loss of their sons as well.
Right. And the lack of closure, it also makes sense to me. If they're the type to self-medicate, that means that they like to run, that they're in the habit of running away from reality, the habit of running away from problems.
Yeah.
You know, not dealing with them, having a dirty house, you know, and just being like, screw it. You know what I mean? They're showing all the indication of people that are just like, you know what? Screw it, man. Just forget it.
Yeah.
So, you know, considering that, I can't necessarily say that it's wrong or malicious or suspicious that this is how they're behaving, you know, to just be like, you know what, this is how my life is and it sucks. And, you know, and not having that closure, I can imagine someone with those kind of habits creating that closure, simulating the closure. You know what I mean?
Yeah. To me, even though they don't know what's happened to someone, whether she's alive or not, they are grieving.
Right.
And their way of grieving is curling up, hiding away, drinking, whatever.
Right.
You know? And that's how a lot of people grieve.
And the way Dawn comes off to me is somebody who just wants to talk about it.
Yes.
Candace doesn't want to talk about it.
No.
But Dawn keeps calling YouTube channels who are saying, you know, and playing to his sensitivity and saying, Dawn, we just want to talk to you. We just want to talk and we want to be your friend. We want to be there for you, you know, and they have this alternative motive behind wanting to talk to him. And he just comes off like, you know, when he said they made fun of him when they said, well, what do you want us to do, Don? When Laura and Marissa were like, what do you want us to do, Don? He was like, just be my friend. Just want you to be my friend. Yeah. Is that an odd response? Absolutely. Sure. It's an odd response. But when you consider all of the variables, it could be understandable.
Yeah.
You know, if you just put forth a little empathy towards somebody who you don't know what they're going through, you know, it can be understandable that he's just trying to talk to somebody who's willing to talk to him to where he can vent. The guy can't afford a psychiatrist or a psychologist or a therapist, you know, but he hears these people who sound more intelligent than he is, and they sound empathetic towards him. And really, they just have an alternative motive of just using him for content, you know, and then he becomes disappointed. You know, he gets drunk and he's just like, I just want to talk to somebody about it. You know, I can't talk to my wife because my wife is just pissed off at the world and she shuts down.
She doesn't want to talk.
Right.
And that happens in a lot of relationships.
Sure.
When something like this happens, that they can't talk to each other. When both are going through the same situation, you can't talk to each other because you don't want to upset the other one.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. And you know, and it was crazy because even in that phone call, you know, that Molly based everything on. She based her whole
scenario,
you know, opinion on that phone call on him saying, I have 7 alibis and Candace ain't got none. But this was after so long of her yelling in the background, yelling, bitch, cocksucker, blah, 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 yelling at, not at him, but at Molly and Laura. right? And
At the
she was
world.
yelling and cursing, and he's going the whole time until he gets fed up, because he's clearly already intoxicated. Because if somebody was that as intoxicated as Don, and he was a quick-tempered, angry guy, he would have snapped way earlier than he did.
Yeah.
She just kept going and going and going and going, and he was going, Candace, please. Calmly, he was going, Candace, please, Candace, please, please. I can't hear them. I'm trying to talk to them, please. You know, and then he gets passive aggressive. You know what I mean? And that's another thing is it so hard to believe? What happens commonly when two parents lose a child and it happens on one of those parents' watches, right?
The other one gets blamed.
The other one gets blamed, right?
You know,
that one gets blamed by the other one because they're so desperate for answers.
Yeah,
they're so desperate for answers, and so passive aggressively he says that because he's already pissed off at her, and he said 7 alibis, but he meant to say witnesses. It's obvious if you have a brain. He meant to say witnesses. He just doesn't understand the terminology. He doesn't follow crime. He doesn't know. You know what I mean?
I mean, the thing is, she actually has a witness because her mother was there and the children were there. And,
right.
And if the story was incorrect, that the little girl had gone into the house and the boys had seen her, they wouldn't have said that story because the boys are witnesses.
Right.
The boys witnessed her going into the house and going down the stairs.
And I guarantee you, if the FBI, the TBI, and the Hawkins County Sheriff's Department are all involved, I can promise you that those boys had forensic interviews taken place.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They would have been done in a sensitive way, you know, with people that are used to working with children, but they would have been interviewed. Absolutely.
Right. There wasn't enough time to coach them. No. There just wasn't. Based on that timeline, there was not enough time to coach those kids. So if one of those kids, or if all of those kids had conflicting stories that were inconsistent from Dawn or Candace's or both, then I'm pretty sure they would have been arrested.
I agree.
And held. I mean, I don't know for sure because I'm not in law enforcement, but I would think that would have been enough.
Yeah.
You know, to at least arrest one of them.
Yeah.
You know, but they passed lie detector tests too.
Yeah.
These are not evil geniuses. And another point that I'm always making is you look at how sloppy their behavior is on social media. You're going to tell me people who behave this sloppily, and I don't mean that to insult them.
No.
But they're how many times have we heard them intoxicated? You know, Don can't even keep his, you know, most people can drive drunk and can contain themselves, those who drink. You know, functioning alcoholics is what you call them.
Yes.
Right? And they can drive drunk. And this guy's gotten DUIs. We're talking about a guy with very sloppy behavior, but they managed to commit the perfect crime and keep it covered up for 6 months, regardless of all this other sloppy behavior that's been going on. They've managed to fool 3 different law enforcement agencies that are trained in finding missing kids and getting answers to what happened. That doesn't make sense to me.
No, I do not think they are guilty in any way, shape, or form, apart from, you know, not being the best of parents. But, you know,
I'm leaning towards they're not. But you know what I mean? Like I'm just entertaining the possibility still because I just don't know.
No.
You can't cherry pick and say, hey, you know, I don't think they did it because we don't know anything. You know, I'm saying we don't know what happened because we don't know anything. That's the logical thing to do, in my opinion. You know,
that's true.
But I don't blame you for feeling that way either, because like I've been saying, is the evidence, there's more evidence to indicate that they didn't have anything to do with it versus they did.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I'm just still entertaining the possibility that they did. But I'm leaning your way. I'm assuming that they're innocent. I just am, because
Well,
it's a
shouldn't we
crazy thing to
always
accuse
assume
somebody of.
innocent? Shouldn't we always assume innocent until proven guilty?
Right.
You know?
There's a reason why the court system works that way. It's
Yeah.
because it's the way it should be.
Right.
Your rights are based on human rights, not just citizens' rights. Your citizen rights, your American citizen rights are based on what your human rights are.
Yes. Yeah.
That's why
Absolutely.
that's why your country works in a similar fashion. Your justice system works in a similar fashion. Most countries work in a similar fashion in the justice system. Most do. So there's a reason for that. It's because it's based on a human right. If I was a parent, I wouldn't want somebody jumping to that conclusion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So most systems are based on that logic.
Yeah. I mean, I have a family member who was pulled to one side in the hospital. She was taken out of the room from the hospital because her son was accident prone and was constantly banging himself because he climbed trees and climbed walls and all this sort of stuff. And she felt so bad because she was seen as being a perpetrator of his injuries, even though she'd never done anything wrong. He was just being a boy. He was being a boy that would jump off things and climb on things and bang himself.
Right.
And that, you've got to always remember that. And she's a good parent. Don't get me wrong, she's a good parent. But kids are kids and they do stupid things. And kids go out and play and kids climb trees and kids fall and kids wander off. And they do, because it's happened to me.
Right.
And it's a scary moment. And when you find them, you don't know whether to shout at them and scream at them or give them a hug.
Yeah.
Don't you ever do that to me again? That sort of thing. And that's what I think Candice thought had happened, that she'd gone for a wonder.
And that's the difference between disciplining a kid and abusing a kid.
Yeah.
When you discipline a kid, it's because you are worried about their well-being.
Yeah.
You want to prepare them to be independent so that they don't get hurt when they are.
Yeah.
Abuse is because you're just expressing your own disgusting, sad insecurities and taking it out on somebody.
Yeah.
But when it comes to discipline, it's because you're trying to teach a kid right from wrong, and every kid is different.
Yeah.
Every kid has their own personality, and only that parent knows that kid the best and
you
knows
can have two
what
kids
the
in
best
same
way to deal with that
family,
kid is.
And two kids in the same family, and you deal with them in different ways because
You
they're
do.
different personalities.
Right.
I know, because I have two
I was
kids.
raised like that. My brother got more privileges than me, and I thought it was favoritism, but it was because he had a mindset of being responsible and doing good in school and doing everything, and I was the opposite. So I didn't have the same freedoms that he had. I didn't have the common sense that he had, so I had a tighter leash on me. You know what I mean? And being an adult now, I understand that, but as a kid, I was like, that's not fair.
Yeah,
and the answer I got was, life's not fair. You know what I mean?
I use that phrase a lot. I used to use that phrase a lot.
Yeah, wait till you and the whole point behind that is just wait till you deal with the world. Just wait till you deal with the world. Like, you're gonna see it. Nobody cares about your feelings in the real world. Nobody cares.
Yeah, but we do things to protect our children. And that's what discipline, like you said, is about, is to protect your children.
Right.
There's a difference between, like you said, discipline and abuse. But, we say, right, okay, you're not going out. It's dark. It's not safe out there.
Right.
Oh, it's not fair. All my friends are out. I don't care what your friends are doing. I'm telling you, you're not going out.
Yeah.
You can play out when it's daylight, but you're not going out. It's dark.
Take me to court. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Just
okay.
call me Hen. I really appreciate you. I love this conversation, and everybody else who joined me on panel. I really appreciate you guys for joining me and everybody being cool. So thank you so much, and I hope to see you in chat again soon.
Thank you for having me.
And you take care of yourself, okay? Wow. Wow, you guys are the best, man. I had a really good time. Thank you guys for joining me. Please, if you haven't already, like and subscribe. And yeah, we're I'm really, really, really enjoying talking with you guys and hanging out with you guys. I did not expect, especially this time of day, I didn't expect this people to join the chat. Please make sure, guys, to watch Crude AF at 3:30 p.m. Eastern. That's an hour and a half from now. So just make sure that you log on to his channel, because he's got great content, and he's got a great heart, and he's coming from a really, really good place. And I'm proud to call him a new friend. So please, guys, make sure to check him out. Check out Kraken Cases. Check out Burnt Toast. Check out my man John on A Scandal, and it's spelled Ace Candle, but it's pronounced A Scandal. And hopefully we'll be doing something. I asked Crude AF to join me, but it was at the last minute, and he's got a family and everything, and it's Saturday, so he's doing stuff around the house, as he said. I asked him at the last minute if he wanted to join me, but he was like, I don't know if I can today. And we've been meaning to get around to it, but we just haven't gotten around to it yet. But we'll plan something. We'll be doing something together soon. But anyways, guys, I love you guys very, very much. Thank you guys for all your support. For any super chats or any cash apps or PayPals, I really appreciate it. I love you, and we will do this again very soon, my friends.